Hi guys, welcome to another episode of The Pet Pet. My name is Yash and I am the founder of Possible. Now in today's episode, we are going to be venturing into sort of a disputed topic in India, that is keeping exotic animals as pets. Now we at Possible do not endorse any practices, but at the same time, we feel it is extremely important that we gain necessary knowledge and details regarding the well-being of these pets. On the show today, we have Dr. Pritesh Vidhati, who is an expert in treating these exotic animals. I hope you enjoy the episode, and if you have any suggestions, do put it in the comments because we would like to reach out further and take it to the right expert. I hope you have a good time. Thank you. So, hello, Dr. Pritesh. Very good
Hi,
evening. Hi. How are you, first of all?
fine.
Fine. So, Dr. Pritesh, we have started this show called The Pet Vet, where we are inviting industry leaders to talk about various topics that would be related to the pets that we keep at home. So, I understand that you are a specialist in exotic animals, right? So, why don't you tell us a little about yourself, your journey, and how did you come to becoming a veterinarian? It is an important life decision. So, we would like to know your story first, and then we can move on to the topic.
Myself, Dr. Pritesh Shivaji Vidhate. I have done my graduation and post-graduation from KNP Veterinary College, and I have done masters in medicine. Primarily, I am working in a exotic field, that is my area of my interest. I work at Shivraj Pet Clinic and Exotic Animal Center, Pimpri, Pune. So basically, I came to the veterinary because my dad is a veterinarian. Right now, he is a district head of Pune.
Oh, wow.
Initial when he was a livestock development officer, I used to go with him on the field visits as well as I used to assist him whenever required at night, sometimes at emergencies when no one was around. So I started developing interest in this field, and I
Right.
always loved animals. So it was a easy decision for me.
Fantastic, fantastic. What an amazing story because you have a lineage of veterinarians at home. Right.
Yes.
Great. So, doctor, I would like to ask you, like, what is new that is happening in the veterinarian industry these days? Like, what are the new updates that are coming from the veterinary industry?
The major event happened that we can say is COVID-19. As of everybody is affected with that. We have seen major changes in the veterinary industry after that because the love towards animals is increasing. Like people have started keeping pets. Whenever they feel lonely, they can just go talk with your dog, cat, and even a birds also. So somehow the population is increasing. People have started keeping them as well as more of it. Whenever the IT people are like who is a job person or living in the flat system, they are preferring a exotic pets like birds, rabbits, guinea pigs, hamsters. Sometimes a iguana is also there. So
Right.
compared to the your conventional furry baby, it is somehow simpler or maybe less space required to keep at home. So that's why they are preferring it.
Right. So, doctor, can you elaborate on the on what exotic animals are? Like, which are the exotic animals that can be defined as one? Because we certainly know that dogs and cats are mostly regarded as pets. But could you please tell us a little more about exotic animals?
Okay, mainly the animals which are not enlisted in the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, and we are keeping it as a pets. So they can be said as a exotic animals. The example is like
So, right,
birds are there, turtles are there, like radial slider is there, rabbits, guinea pigs,
right.
which are
Okay, okay,
specifically bred for the purpose.
okay, okay. So now I'm actually entering a topic of the day, which is exotic animals or as pets in India. So my first question, doctor, to you would be like, what are the differences when it comes to exotic animals? When like we are in India, and I'm sure like Is there any particular definition which defines who are the pets in India and which are the pets abroad as well?
Basically, animals which are not interested in Wildlife Protection Act. Like to give you a simpler example, you can't keep a ring neck parakeet at home, but you can keep a African grey parrot at home. It's
Okay.
that simple.
Okay, but in foreign countries, like which are the animals that which are there, which would not probably be allowed in India to be kept as pets?
Uh, in forests, there are also big cats also present, which are considered as exotic. We can't never see in that in the India.
Right. Okay. Okay. So when it comes to the ethical side of it, uh, do like what are the legal considerations that need to be taken care of before bringing home a particular exotic animal?
Particularly, basically, like you shouldn't just take the animal from the wild. You can't keep a wild rabbit at your home. Like here, you can't keep hare at home, or you shouldn't catch the parrots and keep them at home and call them as an exotic animal. Legally, it will be a wrong. Uh, from reputed breeders which are legally recognized, you can buy from them and keep them. No issues.
Okay. So when you bring in a bird or a hamster or a guinea pig, so what is the environment that one needs to set up before bringing them home?
Uh, I'll like to answer this question according to the species.
Okay.
So we'll go with the bird and rabbit first. For the
Right.
birds, a big cage is sufficient for them, as well as like if you have a separate room where you don't have any fans or you are not using any fans, that room be a great idea for a bird. Again, it depends on the size of bird you choose. Like for the budgerigars, commonly known as lovebirds, a lesser area will be required. Compared to that, if you go take a cockatoo or sometimes like macaw or any large bird, a larger area will be required.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
And when it comes to their diet, how about the bird diet? Like, what is the best foods that can be given to a young bird than an older bird?
For the young birds, there are ready-made formulas available, like which consist of which are similar to the milk, kind of. So
Okay.
yeah, there are bird formula according to the species. You can use them. There are imported foreign companies which provide us that in India. You can be using that. You just have to syringe fed them, but mostly you buy the birds after this phase. So
Okay.
it will not be required. You can just go with the commercial diet such as pelleted food, sometimes fruit blends and combination of fruits and sometimes veggies. That would be sufficient for your bird.
Right.
It is a common practice that whenever somebody is purchasing a bird, they'll just buy a bag of seeds like sunflower seeds, millets, or something like that. They'll keep giving that for the bird lifetime. That is not a good option to do. So all seed diet will cause many problems like hepatic problems or sometimes fattiness and obesity,
Right.
basically lifestyle disorders.
Right.
So
So,
combination
doctor,
of
like,
diet is good.
okay, doctor, what are the necessary nutrients when it comes to birds? Because I'm sure, like, very few people must be knowing, in depth about, what is to be fed to birds. So, what are the nutrients that we need to look at and need to be given to these birds?
Most of the nutrients are covered by your commercial diet, which is easy to give basically. And you can just add some multivitamins to it. A good quality multivitamin will take care of it. If
Okay,
you're using a combination of seeds and fruits, it will cover all the aspects of your problem.
okay. Are there any kinds of foods that you should not feed the birds? Are there any foods like these?
Mostly, I would say human food.
Okay, human food. Okay. And then when it comes to fruits, so fruits may like what should you not feed when in terms of fruits?
We commonly advise apples, pineapples, watermelon. etc. Fruits to the birds. We
Okay.
have seen some issues with the citrus fruits. Like
Okay.
we have seen issues with citrus fruit and berries, but that's not a theoretical guideline. That's just how I have
Okay.
seen it.
Got it. And sorry, you were talking about the hamsters and guinea pigs and their environments that need to be set up. So please continue on that.
For the rabbit, a enclosure would be a great idea for mainly for the babies. You shouldn't keep them open at home because chances of accidents are very high. But after they are grown and habitual to your environment, you can like keep them in the room also. They'll be
Okay.
comfortable there.
Perfect. Perfect. And what about guinea pigs? Is it the same
Similar,
as done with
but
rabbits?
similar.
Okay. Okay. So, what kind of care and attention does an exotic animal require in comparison to a dog or a cat?
Basically, all animal is gonna require compassion and care, no matter what species you choose. When it comes to bird, you should be spending a plenty of time with him whenever possible. Because if you can't do that, there is gonna be some behavioral issues, or sometimes they just keep plucking their hairs, feathers.
Okay.
So that should be avoided.
Is it possible to train these animals?
Yeah, you can train the birds, most of the birds.
Okay.
Some
And
small
what
birds
about?
are difficult to train, but
Okay.
you can hand tame the birds.
Got it. Got it. And what
There are
about
some
rabbits? Rabbits?
rabbits. Training can be a little difficult, but it can be done.
Okay.
Not for the particular
Okay.
like just like dog, they are not gonna read the newspaper, but you can tell them to like let them know the basic commands. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Any particular exercises that need to be performed when you bring home these exotic animals? Like, any kind of physical activity or anything else that, you would like to just put in there.
Uh, for the birds, I'd prefer some cage-free time. Like whenever you
Okay.
are around and you can keep an eye on bird, it should not be in the cage. For the rabbits, the same applies.
Okay. Okay. Well, I've seen a lot of people also in these days, you know, taking real keen interest in having snakes or something like a dangerous animal as their pet as well. So what is your lookout on that part?
I have not handled them yet. I
Okay,
might be on a similar side with this one.
perfect. So, okay, now, like talking about, we already spoke about diet. So, like, I would like you to elaborate a little more on it, where what are the foods, the portion sizes that need to be fed to these animals, and how through the day should we be feeding these animals, uh,
We are
by a pet parent.
we already talked about the birds. I'll just continue with the rabbits right now. For the rabbits, mainly what people do, like what is the common mistake that I can see is people always wanna give 100% green vegetables to the rabbit, and after 2 3 months, it is gonna cause some dental issues. It's gonna cause some digestive issues. Basically, rabbit teeth is gonna grow continuously. It doesn't stop. So you should provide some friction to them. So how can you do it easily without damaging your furniture as well as their teeth? So a simple option is you can just use a hay. Hay is just a dried grass specifically made for rabbit. There is a Timothy hay, alfalfa hay. Commercial preparations are available. You can just keep the hay in the cage for 24/7. They'll keep eating that, and you will have to visit me much lesser if you're compared to
Okay.
what you are gonna feed in the greens.
Okay. Also, when it comes to hygiene, our surroundings matter a lot, right, for us to be healthy. So, when it comes to birds and rabbits, like what are the best practices to have a good hygienic surrounding for them?
Uh, there is a one specific habit in the rabbits called as coprophagy. Basically, when they pass their first poop, they eat that own poop. So it is they these
Oh,
are the soft pellets which are consisted of it is fermented in the hind gut and it has some nutrients which are required by the rabbit. If you clean them in hurriedly, rabbit is gonna be deficient in them. So you should be allowed, rabbit should be allowed to eat that, and then you should be cleaning their hard fishes and all. For the cleaning, there are commercial preparations or cleaning agents are available which are pet friendly. You can use them, no issues.
and in terms of birds,
In terms of birds, cleanliness is a less of issue because there is just one tray below the cage. You can just change it in the 2 3 times a day. And another part is specifically seen in the birds is people don't change the food. After a day
right,
or two, it gets moldy. Then they have to visit here. So you can
right.
just, whether it is eaten or not, you just have to change the food and water. Like if you do it twice daily, it is more than enough, I think.
Got it. And like, how long is the life cycle for these pets, exotic animals?
Uh, for the birds, it is like species wise. Everybody is gonna have a different lifespan. I'll go with the birds first. Budgies, it is
So,
5 to 10 years. Cockatiel, it is 10 to 12. For conure, like pineapple conure or sun conure, it is 25 to 40. For a
mhm,
larger bird like African grey or cockatoo, it can be 50 to 60 years. For
right,
rabbits, uh, commonly observed is 5 to 12 years. But like
right.
we have seen rabbits of 15 years, so no issues. Guinea
Okay,
pigs around 5 to 7, hamsters 2 to 3. So and turtle, which is the like most people would be interested when it
right.
comes to age. We have seen the turtles around 40 years old. It depends on the in what captivity they are kept and how much care it is taken.
So, like, a lot of people, are against keeping these exotic animals. So, like, is it right for us to, encapsulate them in a limited space, or what are your views on that part?
Basically, you're not gonna encapture them in a limited space. What you are referring to is catching a wild animal or catching a wild bird and keeping it at home.
Right,
We are not going to do it. We are
right,
taking a specifically bred animals which are
right,
used to sit at home only. Like specifically, you can keep at home only. They can't survive in the wild, so
right.
you can keep them. What you should not be doing is releasing back them into the wild because they might not
Oh,
survive. Most
is
of
it?
the people do it.
Okay.
Like if the red eared, they have taken red eared spider turtle. It is not found in the India. It is found in the other
Possibly
countries.
because they have not developed their instincts in such a way that they can possibly, tackle their
Uh,
predators.
when when it comes to REF, it is the opposite. They are gonna act like an infestation to the local body, and the normal turtle like pond turtle, which is supposed to be living in the India in their pond peacefully, they are gonna somehow starve them.
Okay. Okay.
So either
So,
you don't get them, or if you are getting them, keep them for lifetime.
okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Now talking about the lifespan, doctor, what, like, how important is the mating process for these animals, and how often should it be done?
Mm. As a lifespan, it is not required.
Okay.
If you want babies or if you want something out of it, then only it is required. Like for rabbits and all, you should be doing the opposite actually. Uh,
As
in
in,
the female, in the female rabbit, incident of uterine neoplasia is way more than any other species. So they should be spayed as early as like 4 to 6 months of the age, and males can be
okay,
neutered as in a like a regular fashion.
got it, got it. Okay. So, doctor, we have already spoken about the lifespan of these exotic animals. So, I would like to know, like, what are the medical conditions that might develop or usually develop in these animals over their lifespan?
Okay. Apart from medical conditions, I'll first start with the physical issues like accidents. What are the common accidents when it comes to like these animals? Most of the events, fractures I have treated or whatever the orthopedic surgeries I have done, 90% of them were caused by your local fan, your ceiling fan. So that is the
Oh,
easiest way to tackle this issue is like just keep the fan shut when the birds are in open in the house. It's so easy
right.
to avoid. As well as when it comes to like juvenile rabbits or small rabbits, the accidental stomping occurs, or there are babies in the house which can cause some issues to the your furry baby. So that should be avoided. That's what I think. When it comes to medical condition, we have stated earlier that all seed diet cause your problems. The not keeping the compound formulation or balanced diet will lead to the hepatic issues or even obesity in birds also. It's a
Right.
newer term, but we have seen obese birds. So also there are viral infections. Maximum you can't avoid them actually. You can just keep the hygienic practices at your best and keeping them in a check for like in 2 3 months. Every 2 3 months, you can just visit your vet, and that will be
Right.
taken care of. When it comes to rabbits, maximum issues we have seen are the related to the dental ones. Rabbits as well as guinea pigs. When you don't give hay or pelleted food to them, or just giving the greens will cause the dental part to overgo. Like teeth will just keep growing, and it will cause ulceration on the tongue and all. Your rabbit will stop eating, then it will go into GI. It can be easily avoided, right? Just give a hay.
Okay.
Plus,
Giver? Giver?
hay, Timothy hay
Hey.
or
Okay.
dry grass, basically.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
For turtle, maximum problem which we see on a regular basis are related to the diet as well as their keeping conditions, like environmental condition which are in which they are kept. People most of the time don't realize that turtles need sunlight, turtles need balanced food or a good quality food that can be given. So, like
Right.
providing the appropriate environment, which consists of like, for example, 2 hours sunlight, along with the access to the water, that will also help the maximum problems. And balanced diet, which is rich in vitamin A, will cause your another like will reduce your respiratory infections, eye infections, up to some
Okay.
extent.
So you also spoke about water. So what is the right amount of water that needs to be given throughout the day to these animals?
Water should be kept ad lib. In medical term, we call it ad lib. That means continuously whatever they can take. You should keep the water available and change it throughout the day, like 2 3 times minimum. Fresh water should be available. They can just drink it on their own. You don't have to do anything extra for it,
Okay.
unless there is some medical condition.
Right. Okay. How do you like? And this is an extra question that I'm just adding out of curiosity. Like, how are these exotic animals given medication like at home?
At home, specifically, we have some calibrated syringes. We just tell the exact measurement which has to be given, and you can just feed them from the side of the mouth without tilting or inverting them. That is the common mistake which people do. Like they'll just gonna invert the bird like a human baby, and the medicine is going right through the lung. So that should be
Oh,
avoided.
okay. Okay.
Plus, birds should not be fed with your regular biscuits or anything that might cause a stasis. Basically, it can get easily stuck in the crop. Crop is just a extension of esophagus present in the bird. So if you give something that can get stuck or that can form a ball, bird is not gonna able to eat after that.
Yes, I have learned from the interviews or the conversations that I've had with the vet that human foods is a big no-no that we usually consume is should not be given to not just exotic animals but rather any kind of animal because it's not just meant for them. It's not the recipe is not right and it might have adverse effects on their health.
Exactly. Basically, what you can do is get the diet plan according to your whatever the animal needs. You can get a diet plan that can be consisted of home food, like home food, specially made made for them, not
Okay.
for us. What else, regarding to the diet, what we can do is we can just formulate a plan, and then you can follow it. It is much easier that way. First, you will have to choose whether you wanna go with the commercial food, or you do have a time in a day throughout their lifespan to make everything according to their recipe. If you are okay with that, we can give a diet for the diet based on home food also. But it is cumbersome. Like it is gonna be difficult for the next 10 to 15 years. You can do it in the
Right.
initial 2 3 months. You might not be able to do it for the continuous.
Can we have a kind of a hybrid plan for it? कि, थोड़ा हमने we have gotten the packed food and a little bit of it is made
Our
in house.
our diet maximum diet plans are made accordingly only. You can't just
Right.
rely on the fast food, or you can't just rely on the home food also. You will have to mix
Got
it.
it. Got it.
Fruits and veggies, these are available readily in the market. So you can just give
Right.
it to them.
Perfect. Uh, okay. So, doctor, like, what is the usual trend for pet parents to address any kind of issue if their exotic pet or animal is having any kind of issue? What is the usual trend that people have been following throughout?
What happens maximum time is people are gonna just go to the shop where they have purchased the pet, gonna show it to them. He's gonna pick some medicine from the shelf, which is mostly some multivitamin or some antibiotic, which isn't really necessary, or problem is not just the bacteria. So they are gonna first try it with 2 3 days, then they will come to the exotic pet or even a vet. So what
Right.
people should be doing is, uh, these animals should be considered equivalent to your other animals or humans, and they should have a proper care, which you will able to provide to the dog or cat or your two-leg babies.
Okay. So, any kind of a particular home medication, immediate medication that you might suggest if there is some kind of a bruise or some injury?
Okay. The main instinct which everybody follows after seeing any wound is take a turmeric from your dabba of masala and marinate your pet. That's what people do. That should be the practice. You should be keeping betadine or cycladine, which are a regular forbidden iodine-based disinfectant at home, and you can just use them whenever required. If there is like very open wound or large wound which has to be sutured, the non-contaminated wound is easy to suture and have lower healing times compared to the contaminated wounds. Also, avoid human medications. Like no matter how beneficial your frozen syrup might be to your baby, it might not work same with your furry animals.
All right, doctor. This was a great conversation that we had. Is there anything that you would like to add uh, to educate the audience even further?
People think that exotic animals do not require care or do not require doctors. We are just gonna keep some seeds at home and bird is gonna survive. We are gonna keep some veggies and rabbit will do on their own. That is not the fact. When
Right,
like you are doing a providing a proper care to dog and cat, why not to the exotic animal?
right. So, like,
It
okay.
is a
So, I have a
responsibility.
new
No
question then.
matter how easy it is a responsibility that you should be
Right,
doing. Uh,
correct.
Specifically, most of the it comes to bird. Until you notice that bird is ill at a like for normal people, it is already 1 or 2 days late. So
Oh,
you should be rushing to the clinic whenever something is wrong. Like if you can do, you can wait for some other species, but it won't be the same time in the exotic. Whenever like emergency is there, just rush to the vet.
so, doctor, that brings me actually to a very important question that the newer generation is kind of very busy with their careers and they want to grow very fast. So in that case, like what is a sufficient amount of time that or at least a minimum amount of time that you can provide to these exotic animals that you have as pets?
When the initial stage is over, like when they have crossed their maturity and all, comparatively less time can be given to them. But in my opinion, like it is everybody's own personal issue that how much time they should be providing to their animals. But whenever they are ill, you'll have to stop everything and go.
Okay. All right, doctor. Thank you so much for your time. And this was a great
Okay, welcome.
conversation. I learned a lot. And definitely I would like to have you back in, another part where we discuss further on exotic animals. I'm sure that we're going to get a lot of questions on this topic because I've seen a lot of growth in, people going towards having these exotic animals as pets. I know for a fact that one of my friends also has an iguana. So yeah, so I
It
mean,
might have
I would.
visited here.
He might have. He absolutely might have. So okay, thank you so much for your time, and I would like to. I would love to have you back on the show someday. And how was your experience here on the show?
Very good. Really positive.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, doctor. Thank you. Good
Okay,
day.
welcome. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.